Okay, let's dive right in. We're going to talk about a paradox that honestly keeps a lot of really successful people up at night. It's this weird situation where you have more than enough money to retire, but you're still completely terrified to actually pull the trigger. So get this. Our case study today is a 58-year-old software engineer. This guy has done everything right. I mean, zero debt, a fantastic income, and a nest egg of $3.5 million. And yet, he's totally frozen. Why? Well, because for the first time in his entire adult life, money would be flowing out of his accounts instead of in. And that psychological shift, it is a massive hurdle to get over. And this is the fear that's really at the heart of it all, isn't it? It's that little voice in the back of your head just whispering, are you sure? What if you're wrong? What if it's not enough? Today, we're going to shut that voice down, not with feelings, but with cold, hard numbers. And that right there, that's what we call the $3 million paradox. It's this surprising, huge gap between the number sitting in your account and your actual feeling of being financially free. So first, let's put that number into some real perspective. Now have a look at this, the median. The typical retirement savings for an American between 65 and 74 is about $200,000. If you have $3 million, you're sitting on 15 times that amount. I mean, think about that. That puts you in the top 4% of all households in the entire country. Financially, you're not just in a strong position, you're in an entirely different league. Okay, enough with the psychology for a minute. Let's get down to the math. We're going to set emotions aside and just look at three totally different ways you can turn that $3 million pile of money into a reliable, steady income stream. We'll go from super conservative all the way to growth focused. First up, the classic, the old school, conservative approach, the 4% rule. For decades, this has been the bedrock of retirement planning. It's super simple. You just withdraw 4% of your portfolio, that's $120,000, in your first year. Now you add in potential Social Security benefits for a couple, and your total annual income could be as high as $157,000. That's more than most American households earn while they are still working. But what if we could do even better? The guy who actually invented the 4% rule recently updated his own research, and he says that a 4.7% withdrawal rate is actually just as safe for most people. Well, this simple tweak bumps your annual withdrawal up to $141,000. Add in Social Security, and suddenly you could be looking at an annual income of $178,000. All right, now for the really fun one, the growth-focused approach. If you just stay invested in things that historically average around a 10% return, you could pull out a whopping $200,000 a year. And get this, your nest egg wouldn't just survive, it would very likely continue to grow. Factor in Social Security, and this path could generate an income of up to $237,000 a year. It's incredible. So, look, when you lay it all out like this, the math is just undeniable. It doesn't matter if you're conservative or aggressive, your $3 million can generate a powerful, sustainable income that either preserves or even grows your money over time. Money is there. That part of the equation is solved. Okay, so wait a minute. If we've established the money is more than enough, if the math is so crystal clear, why does that fear stick around? Well, it's because we've been asking the completely wrong question this whole time. This question, is my number big enough? That's what creates all the anxiety. It's vague, it's abstract, and honestly, there's no real answer to it. So we need to completely reframe the problem. See, the right question isn't how much do I have? The right question is how much do I actually need to live the life I really want? The simple little flip in thinking changes everything. It moves your focus from some abstract pile of cash to your real, concrete, day-to-day life. And that leads us to a much more powerful idea, your freedom number. Let's just walk through this because this is where it gets really eye-opening. You start with what you're spending now, let's say $120,000 a year. Then you start subtracting all the big expenses that just vanish when you retire. Boom, the paid-off mortgage, that's gone. Boom, the commute, work lunches, all that stuff, gone. And here's the biggest one. You stop saving for retirement. When you add it all up, your actual yearly need is way closer to $70,000. Now compare that to the income we could generate. You have a massive, massive buffer. So if the math is solid and our real needs are easily covered, what's the final barrier? What is going on here? Well, it's not a financial deficit. For so many people, it's a purpose deficit. And this This is the real psychological core of the whole problem. Financial expert Dave Ramsey really hit the nail on the head here. He said, people retire with plenty of money and zero purpose. You can have all the money on the planet, but if you have no reason to get out of bed in the morning, you're not really retired. You're just unemployed. The numbers say you're fine, but your soul is telling you something's missing. Let me tell you about Jim and Linda. It's a tale of two very different retirements. On one side, you have Jim. He retired from his job with a cool $4 million, and he was bored out of his mind in 6 months. On the other side, you have Linda. She retired to a new mission with less money. She volunteers, she mentors, she travels. She designed a life around meaning. The difference wasn't their net worth, it was what they did with their life. So, this is where we get practical. This is the final and I think most important part of all this. How do you actually design your freedom? Because it's not about escaping work to do nothing. It's about embracing what comes next. Here's a simple blueprint. But the most crucial step, the one you absolutely cannot skip, is that you have to create this plan before you walk away from that paycheck. Figure out what you want to retire to. Maybe it's mentoring, maybe it's volunteering, or some part-time consulting. Just start with 10 or 20 hours a week. Because real freedom isn't doing nothing. It's doing work you love on your terms without the financial stress. Okay, but what about the real rational fears? The biggest one is a huge market crash right after you retire. It's a real thing. It's called sequence of returns risk. But the solution is shockingly simple. Just keep 1 year's worth of your living expenses in cash. That's it. If the market tanks, you live off that cash buffer and you don't touch your investments while they're down. It's a straightforward, simple safety net. So let's bring it all home. For that 58-year-old software engineer and for anyone in his shoes, the answer from the numbers is a loud, overwhelming yes. The money is more than enough. The numbers are bulletproof. They are rock solid. The real work, the real challenge, isn't financial at all. It's about giving yourself permission to enjoy the incredible life you've built. So we end with this. We've shown that the money question is solved. It's done. It's off the table. The math works. The safety nets are there. The only question left is the one that really, truly matters. Now that you've earned your freedom, what are you going to do with it?